on the heels of the advancing armies, followed teams organized to search for enemy documents. One of their targets, enemy motion picture film. From the rubble of cities, from farmhouses, barns, and playgrounds, caches of Nazi film were found. Then in September 1945, the hierarchy of Nazi Germany were placed on trial before an international military tribunal on charges which included a conspiracy to commit crimes against peace, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. In addition to traditional evidence, there was presented a motion picture compiled from the film found by the search teams, which sought to establish the manner in which the Nazis obtained totalitarian power in Germany, and how the use of that power, with aggressive war as an instrument of national policy, led Germany into World War II. This is an adapted English version of the motion picture evidence presented to the International Military Tribunal at Nuremberg, Germany, by the staff of the United States Chief of Counsel, Justice Robert H. Jackson.
I, E.R. Kellogg, Commander, United States Naval Reserve, hereby certify that since 6 September 1941 to the present date of 15 November 1945, I have been on active duty with the United States Navy. On 1 May 1945, it became my official naval duty to locate, to cause to be located, and to compile on behalf of the United States Chief of Counsel photographic evidence to be used in the prosecution of major European Axis war criminals. Under my command, military and naval units have secured prints of official German newsreels and other original German film. All of this film has been within the exclusive control of my command since the date when it came into our custody, and the motion picture which follows this affidavit has been compiled exclusively from excerpts of the German originals. Except for the titles in English which have been inserted, the entire picture is composed of such original German film. This includes any titles in German, any pictures of German newspapers, any special photographic effects, and all narration in German. To the best of my knowledge and belief, this film constitutes a true documentary representation of the individuals and scenes photographed and recorded. The images taken have not been retouched, distorted, or otherwise altered in any respect, and are true copies of the original, now titled, are based upon the material contained in the original German film. E.R. Kellogg, Commander, United States Naval Reserve.
The Rise of the NSDAP, 1921-1933. Alfred Rosenberg describes the early Nazi struggle for power.
Also Hitler besuchte die Eckert und dort lernte ich den Führer kennen.
Early in 1921, I was introduced to the Fuhrer, and since that time I have devoted myself completely to the NSDAP. I worked in the beginning with what was later to become the Völkische Beobachter. During this time, a short thesis was written, which nevertheless is significant in the history of the NSDAP. I wrote the principal program and the aims of the NSDAP, and this writing made the first permanent connection between Munich and local organizations being organized with friends within the Reich. After the first ill-fated attempt on the power of the Reich in 1923, I stayed in Munich and tried to keep the pieces of the party together. There followed long years of bitter fighting. Shots at the Feldherrenhall. Ludendorff and Hitler imprisoned. Business office of the NSDAP. The fascist student organization will be represented at the Nuremberg Party Day by a member of the Central. Dr. Santoni and Walter von Schirach, Reichsführer of the German student organization. Reich Party Day, Nuremberg, 1927. Hitler, Ernst Röhm, and staff. Germany awake. Julius Streicher. Other leaders greet the arrivals. Column follows column. Distressing balance from 1919 to 1932. 27,000 strikes and lockouts. 7.5 billion marks in losses. Beat Hitler. Towards the Third Reich. Italy expects smashing victory for Hitler. Essay in front of the gates. The Völkische Beobachter was transferred to Berlin in 1923. I too moved into that city after a struggle which lasted 14 years in Munich and Bavaria. The move was made at just the right time. On the 30th of January, the Fuhrer took over the power in the Reich, and 1 year later appointed me Commissioner for the Education of the NSDAP and all its subordinate organizations.
Er ernannte mich im April zum Leiter des gegründeten außenpolitischen Amtes der Bewegung und ein Jahr später zu seinem Beauftragten für die Überwachung der gesamten geistigen und weltanschaulichen Schulung und Erziehung der NSDAP und aller angeschlossenen Verbände.
Goering, named Prussian Minister of Interior by Hitler, outlines his program. February 1933.
Als ich an die Spitze des preußischen Innenministeriums berufen wurde, wusste ich, dass ich das schwerste Amt übernehmen musste.
When appointed Prussian Minister of the Interior, I knew that here lay the key of the entire position of power. I will clean out with an iron broom all those who hold office only because of their red or black trend. I shall make Prussia again the first and strongest bulwark of the German nation by the commitment of all my power, with merciless decision and iron nerves.
Lose Entschlossenheit und mit eisernen Nerven durch.
Election day in Bavaria, 5 March 1933. With Adolf Hitler for a new Reich. Construction or destruction. Out into the streets with Adolf Hitler. SA Home, Troop 16L. The Trade Union House. Election day in Berlin, 5 March 1933. Von Papen. This election will be of decisive significance, not only for Germany, but also for the whole world. A tremendous victory has been won. A victory with equality. 17,200,000 National Socialists. Meeting of Reichstag at which Hitler and his cabinet received plenary powers of legislation. 24 March 1933.
Der uns in den 14 Punkten Bildungs gemachten Zusicherungen begann für Deutschland, das heißt,
with the breach of the promises made to us in the 14 points of Wilson, a time of never-ending disaster began for Germany. Huge are the tasks of the national government in the sphere of economic life. Here only one law will rule everything else. Acquiring totalitarian control of Germany, 1933-1935. Opening of official anti-Semitic campaign, 1 April 1933.
Meine Volksgenossen und Volksgenossinnen, heute Morgen um 10 Uhr hat der Boykott begonnen. Er wird bis um die
At 10 o'clock this morning, the boycott began. It will be continued until the hour of midnight. It is being executed with momentum like that of a blow. Now they have found a place of refuge in Paris, London, and New York.
Wir haben nun in Paris und London und New York eine Zufluchtsstätte gefunden. Unsere Partei und unser Führer. Heil! Heil!
Germans, boycott. Don't buy in Jewish stores. Germans, liberate yourself from the tyranny of the Jews. Germans, boycott. Don't buy in Jewish stores. Foreign Press Conference, April 1933.
Die nationale Revolution, in deren Verlauf wir heute stehen, ist ein elementares Ereignis, das nur für den, der neben der Zeit lebte, unerwartet kam. Der diese Zeit mitgestaltete, hat auf sie gehofft und an sie geglaubt.
A national revolution started on the 30th of January of this year, and it is not going to come to a stop before it has permeated the entire life of the German community. This revolution will not stop at anything.
Diese Revolution macht nirgends Halt. Meine Herren, seit dem 30. Januar hat sich in Deutschland eine Umwälzung vollzogen, die in unserer Geschichte einst mit Recht als die nationale Revolution bezeichnet werden wird.
Gentlemen, since the 30th of January, a revolution has taken place in Germany, which in history will justly be called the National Revolution. As in every struggle, it is only natural that such an historical event is accompanied by regretful happenings.
Das ein solcher geschichtlicher Vorgang, jede Kampfhandlung, die und da auch von bedauerlichen Erscheinungen begleitet ist, liegt auf der Hand.
10 May 1933.
In Berlin, wie in anderen Universitätsstädten Deutschlands, wurden undeutsche und unchristliche Bücher von den Studenten eingesammelt und öffentlich verbrannt.
In Berlin, as well as in other university towns, un-German and improper books were gathered and burned by students.
Reichsminister Dr. Goebbels spricht zur Jugend. Meine Kommilitonen, deutsche Männer und Frauen, das Zeitalter eines überspitzten jüdischen Intellektualismus ist nun zu Ende. Und der Durchbruch der deutschen Revolution,
My German men and women, the era of Jewish intellectualism has now finished, and the success of the German Revolution has also opened the road to the German way. The German to come will not be only a man of learning, but rather a man of character. And to this we want to educate you. This is a strong and symbolic action, an action documented before the whole world. The spiritual foundation of the November Republic is falling to the ground. But out of its rubble, there will victoriously rise the phoenix of a new spirit.
das ist eine starke, große und symbolische Handlung. Eine Handlung, die für alle Welt dokumentieren soll. Hier sind die geistige Grundlage der Novemberrepublik zu Boden. Aber aus diesen Trümmern wird sich siegreich erheben der Phönix eines neuen Geistes.
Nuremberg Address on Disarmament, 17 May 1933. The following declaration I am making in the name of the German people and the German government. Germany is disarmed. She has fulfilled all obligations of a peace treaty, far beyond the limits of justice, yes, beyond any trace of reason. Youth meeting in Thuringia, 18 June 1933. We now reign for a little more than 4 months, and we can proudly say that the number of unemployed has been reduced by about 1,200,000. We shall keep on working and not rest until we have attained the goal.
Und wir können mit Stolz sagen, die Zahl der Erwerbslosen ist rund 1,2 Millionen zurückgegangen. Lasst euch Zeit! In 4 Monaten haben wir 1,2 Millionen beseitigt. Wir werden weit angreifen und nicht rasten, bis wir das Ziel erreicht haben.
Swastika becomes national symbol, 9 July 1933.
Heute Hausgenossen und Genossinnen, am 30. Januar sind in Deutschland die Würfel gefallen. Und ich glaube nicht, dass die Gegner, die damals noch gelacht haben, heute auch noch lachen.
My fellow German men and women, never again will the era of the corrupt party occurrences reappear. Since that day, our flag has risen ever higher from week to week as the symbol of the German people and right.
Und doch ist Teilen unseres lackischen Symbol des deutschen Volkes und Reiches erhoben.
5th Party Congress, September 1933. The most precious possession in the world is our own people. We will struggle and we will fight, never weaken and never tire, and never hesitate, and never despair.
Dieses Volk wollen wir ringen und wollen wir kämpfen und niemals erlahmen und niemals ermüden und niemals vertagen und niemals verzweifeln.
Over radio network, Hess administers oath of allegiance to more than 1 million leaders of the NSDAP and all affiliated organizations. 25 February 1934.
Ihr werdet anlässlich des Jahrestages
You shall give in unison the oath of fidelity and obedience to Adolf Hitler, and thereby emphasize in this form before the whole world what you long hence have considered as self-explanatory.
vor der Welt bekräftigen, was euch längst Selbstverständlichkeit war. Ich schwöre Adolf Hitler,
I swear to Adolf Hitler,
unverbrüchliche Treue
and to the leaders appointed by him for me,
ihm und den wir von ihm bestimmten Führern
unbreakable fidelity,
unbedingten Gehorsam
and unquestioned obedience.
Die größte Eidesleistung der Geschichte ist geschehen. Den Führer die Hölle! Die Hölle!
Hess reaffirms Hitler's faith in SA after Rome Purge, July 1934.
Ich warne mit der gleichen Schärfe, mit der ich seinerzeit mit meiner Kölner Rede
I have warned those playing with the thought of a second revolution. I am warning all those who believe that they can defame the SA today. The Fuhrer has punished the guilty ones. The party's relation to the SA is once more the same.
so treu, wie der alte SA-Mann zum Führer steht, so treu steht der Führer zu seiner alten SA. Der Führer hat die Schuldigen bestraft. Unser Verhältnis zur SA ist damit wieder das alte. Mein Führer, ich melde.
My Fuhrer, I am presenting for inspection 52,000 men from the Labor Service. Heil men from the Labor Service.
Warten! Immer! Warten!
Here we stand. We are prepared and will carry Germany into a new era. German. One people, one Führer, one Reich, Germany.
Wir standen nicht im Schützengraben und nicht im Trommelfeuer der Granaten und sind trotzdem Soldaten.
We did not stand in the trenches nor in the fire of grenades, yet we are soldiers. Our arms, shovels, pickaxes, spades. We SA men always knew one thing, fidelity to the Fuhrer and battle for the Fuhrer.
Der Führer der deutschen Jugend hat das Volk. Jugend. Nach einem Jahr kann ich euch hier wieder begrüßen.
My German youth, we want now that you, the German boys and German girls, take up into yourselves all that which we expect from Germany in the future. We wish that this people will not be softened in the future, but that it can be hard. And to that end, you must steel yourselves while you are young. You must learn to endure privations without ever breaking down. For whatever we may create today, or whatever we do, we will perish. But in you, Germany will continue to live. And when there is nothing left of us, you will hold in your fist the flag that we once pulled out of nothingness. We know that Germany lies before us, that Germany marches with us, that Germany follows.
Und was wir tun, wir werden vergehen, aber in euch wird Deutschland weiterleben. Und wenn von uns nichts mehr übrig sein wird, dann werden wir die Fahne, die wir einst aus dem Nichts hochgezogen haben, in euren Fäusten halten müssen. Und ich weiß, das kann nicht anders sein, denn ihr seid Fleisch, von unserem Fleisch und Blut, von unserem Blut, und in euren jungen Gehirn brennt dasselbe Geist, der uns beherrscht. Ihr könnt nicht anders sein, als mit uns verbunden. Und wenn die großen Kolonnen unserer Bewegung heute siegen durch das regieren, dann weiß ich, ihr schließt euch den Kolonnen an und wir wissen, vor uns liegt Deutschland, in uns marschiert Deutschland und hinter uns kommt Deutschland.
Party Congress presented an excerpt from the official German film Triumph of the Will, 4/10, September 1934.
Den Kongress des 6. Parteitages eröffne ich mit dem ehrfurchtvollen Gedenken an den in die Ewigkeit eingegangenen Generalfeldmarschall und Reichspräsidenten von Hindenburg.
I open the Congress of the 6th Party Day in reverent memory of the General Field Marshal and President of the Reich, von Hindenburg.
Krieges und gedenken damit zugleich unserer gefallenen Kameraden. Ich begrüße die hohen Vertreter auswärtiger Staaten,
I extend greetings to the high representatives of foreign countries.
an der Tagung teilzunehmen.
The movement extends its greetings to the representatives of the armed forces, now under the command of the Führer.
Unter dem Befehl des Führers stehenden Wehrmacht. Mein Führer,
My Führer,
um Sie
Around you are placed the flags and banners of this National Socialism. When their cloth will have become decayed, the people will understand what you, my Führer, mean to Germany. You are Germany. When you act, the nation acts. When you judge, the people judge. Thanks to your leadership, Germany will achieve its goal of being a homeland for all Germans throughout the world. You are our guarantee of victory. You are our guarantee of peace.
Sie sind Deutschland. Wenn Sie handeln, handelt die Nation. Wenn Sie richten, richtet das Volk. Unser Dank ist das Gelöbnis, in guten und in bösen Tagen zu Ihnen zu stehen, komme was da wolle. Dank Ihrer Führung wird Deutschland sein Ziel erreichen, Heimat zu sein. Heimat zu sein für alle Deutschen der Welt. Sie waren uns der Garant des Sieges. Sie sind uns der Garant des Friedens.
Unser unerschütterlicher Glaube an uns selbst.
Such is our unshakable belief in ourselves to continue the work which was founded during the stormy years of the revolt of 1918 in Munich, and which is embodied today in world historical significance by the entire German nation.
Der ganz Deutschland erfasste und heute schon in weltgeschichtlicher Bedeutung durch die ganze deutsche Nation verkörpert wird.
Denn die Wahrheit ist das Fundament, mit dem die Macht der Presse steht und fällt.
That the truth about Germany be reported, that is the only demand we make of a foreign press.
Die wir an die Presse auch des Auslandes stellen.
A people which disregards the purity of its race will perish.
Geht zugrunde.
All our work must be governed by a single thought, that of making the German worker an upright and proud member of the people.
Und gleichberechtigten Volksgenossen zu machen.
I can only say, as leader of German law instruction, that our highest leader is also our highest judge. National socialistic justice is the foundation of the National Socialistic State.
Oberster Führer, auch der oberste Gerichtsherr ist.
May the bright flame of our enthusiasm never die.
Niemals zum Erlöschen kommen.
The German people are ripe today in mind and soul for equal compulsory labor service. We await the Führer's order.
Gleichen Arbeitsdienstpflicht. Wir harren des Befehls des Führers.
einem Jahr trafen wir uns zum ersten Mal auf diesem Felde.
This is the first general roll call of the political leaders of the National Socialistic Party. Here are assembled 200,000 men, answering only the call of their hearts and fidelity. The state has not created us, but we are creating the state for ourselves.
Gebot ihres Herzens nicht hergerufen hat, als das Gebot ihrer Treue.
The movement lives and stands firm as a rock. And as long as even one of us breathes, he will lend all his strength to this movement and will stand up for it.
Deutschland als Volk und ein Reich, an unsere deutsche Nation und das deutsche Volk Sieg heil! Sieg heil! Sieg heil! Es war und es war.
Several months ago, a black shadow passed over the movement. The SA had as little as any other institution in the party to do with this shadow. We stand firmly together for one Germany, and we must remain firmly united for this Germany.
Mit diesen Schatten etwas zu tun.
I deliver Germany to you with the conviction that I am delivering it in the most trustworthy hands. In the past, you have 1,000-fold proved your loyalty to me, and it cannot be otherwise during the days ahead of us.
Grüße euch denn als meine alten, treuen, misstrauischen Mitmänner. Sieg heil!
Geschlecht der Führer. Der 6. Parteitag der Bewegung geht zu Ende.
The 6th party anniversary of the movement is nearing its end. Always only a part of the people will consist of fighters. More is being required from them than from the remaining millions of racial comrades. For all the future, the party will be the political selection of leadership for the German people. The aim must be that all decent Germans become National Socialists. Only the best National Socialists are party members. Then one day the wonderful, glorious army of the old, proud fighters of our people will have at its side the no less tradition-bound leadership of the party. And then both these institutions will together educate and stabilize the German people and carry on their shoulders the German state, the German Reich.
Dann werden diese beiden Einrichtungen gemeinsam den deutschen Menschen erziehen und festigen und auf ihren Schultern tragen den deutschen Staat, das deutsche Reich. Die Partei ist Hitler. Hitler aber ist Deutschland, wie Deutschland Hitler ist. Hitler siegt
Preparation for wars of aggression, 1935, 1939. Von Schirach urges Hitler youth to follow principles of Mein Kampf.
Hier, meine Kameraden, seid ihr zum Abschluss eures Marschs hierher gekommen.
My comrades, why does this huge march of allegiance of young Germany end in Landsberg? Here on this spot, year after year, it must be explained again and again to the youth of our people that it was at one time possible for our people to imprison Germany's greatest son here. Out of the solitude of his cell, the Führer once gave us the book Mein Kampf.
Gefangenschaft. Der Führer sagt uns aus der Einsamkeit dieser Zelle heraus, eins das Buch, mein Kampf.
In the future, you shall draw the strength from this book to conduct your fight, the fight of the German people, the fight of the young generation, the fight of the Germany of tomorrow. To our Führer, our beloved Führer Adolf Hitler.
Der Führer Adolf Hitler. Sieg Heil!
Thank you.
During an rearmament of Germany, March 1935. Today, the rebuilt German National Guard rises again on the strong foundation of the National Socialistic ideology. The Fuhrer has wrought into one the parties, the classes, property, and religion. He has given us back our arms because he loves his people, and the security of Germany is close to his heart. Party Congress. Adolf Hitler pleads for the return of Memel, then for enactment of laws to be read by the President of the Reichstag.
Abermalige Scheitern dann das Gesetz zur endgültigen Lösung der nationalsozialistischen Partei übertragen werden müsste. Unter allen drei Gesetzen steht die Partei und mit ihr und hinter ihr die deutsche Nation.
Citizen of the Reich is only that person who is of German or of the same kind of blood, and who proves by his behavior that he is willing and has sworn to serve the German people and the Reich faithfully. Marriages between Jews and German citizens or persons of the same kind of blood are hereby prohibited.
Und das Führer im Reckern
Reoccupation of the Rhineland, 7 March 1936. German troops reoccupy their former peacetime garrisons in the unprotected zone.
Jubel im Bereitsprung in Düsseldorf.
Minister von Uraf expresses confidence all Germans will vote approval of Hitler's policies. 29 March 1936.
Ich bin überzeugt, dass deutsche Volkheit zu 100%
I am convinced that the German people will back up our Führer with a solid yes. Reichsminister Dr. Fleck and Whitefoot.
jeder deutsche Mann und jede deutsche Frau
Let each German man and woman fulfill their duty and back up liberty and peace. Reichsminister Dr. Goebbels and Whitefoot.
646.
I am convinced that the whole German people will stand as one behind the Führer. Addressed to Krupp munition plant workers, 28 May 1936. The world has no right to judge me. I subject myself to you. You judge me, whether my work has been done right, whether you believe that I have been industrious, that I used my time wisely in the service of my people. Let there be no talk about your work. Just act.
Um mich damit berechtigt zu sagen, das, was ich jetzt hier erkläre, das erklärt Deutschland, das erklärt das deutsche Volk.
8th Party Congress, 8/14, September 1936.
Die 110 Fahnen der alten Armee und Marine werden nach Nürnberg eingeholt.
110 colors of the old Army and the Navy are being brought to Nuremberg. The Führer arrives from Berchtesgaden. Armed forces receive new flags. April 1937. German sailors killed in Spanish Civil War brought home on the Deutschland. 18 June 1937. The dead sailors of the pocket battleship Deutschland are being buried next to the dead of the Battle of the Skagerrak by order of the Fuhrer. The entire German people mourn with the mothers and the wives for the victims of the Bolshevist attack.
Die Opfer des bolschewistischen Überfalls.
Wohl selten seit langer Zeit durchzuckte das deutsche Volk.
May they always be a shining example of supreme sense of duty and self-sacrifice. May they forever be an emphatic warning to keep working and fighting according to the will of our Fuhrer.
Order.
Ninth Party Congress, 6/13, September 1937.
Arbeitsmänner der Feuer angetrieben.
Hitler addresses the Reichstag on rearmament, 20 February 1938.
Der Tag, an dem ich als Chef der größten deutschen Oppositionspartei in das Haus am Wilhelmsplatz ging und als Führer und Kanzler der Nation heraustrat, war ein Wendepunkt in der Geschichte unseres Volkes damals, jetzt und für alle Zeiten.
That day, when I entered the house on the Wilhelmplatz as chief of the biggest German party of opposition, and when I left as Führer and Chancellor of the nation, was a turning point in the history of the German people. The German Standing Army has been assembled. A powerful German Air Force protects our homes. A new might of sea protects our coast. Each institution of this Reich stands under the command of our highest political leadership. Anschluss, March 1938. Conference of the Fuhrer and Dr. Schuschnigg. Schuschnigg no longer master of the situation. German Austria saved from chaos. Seyss Inquart asked the Fuhrer to send German troops.
Hat sich innerhalb der deutschen Volksgemeinschaft eine Umwälzung vollzogen.
During the past few days, a revolution has taken place, which we may be able to see today, but the full meaning of which only the generation still to come will be able to see. As Führer and Chancellor of the German nation of the Reich, before German history, I now lead the incorporation of my homeland into the German Reich.
Als Führer und Kanzler der deutschen Nation und des Reichs will ich vor der Reichsgeschichte nunmehr den Eintritt meiner Heimat in das Deutsche Reich. Deutschland und der neue Krieg, die Nationalsozialistische Partei und die Wehrmacht unseres Reiches sichern!
Hitler's 49th birthday, 20 April 1938. Party Congress, 5/12, September 1938. I report to you 5,000 girls and 52,000 Hitler boys assembled for review.
Der Führer schreitet zum Ehrenmal der Gefallenen der Bewegung.
The Fuhrer walks to the monument of the dead of the Nazi movement. His policy with respect to Sudetenland. 26 September 1938. Proposal for a German check balance. Red military dictatorship in Prague starts with bloody crime. Czech police attack with firearms and drawn swords. Germany's responsibility for the Sudeten Germans. Czechs are digging trenches.
Ein Angebot gemacht. Es ist nichts anderes als die Realisierung dessen, was selbst soll.
I have made an offer to Mr. Bennett. Peace or war. Either he is going to accept my offer now and finally grant the Germans their liberty, or we shall now get ourselves this liberty.
Ich sehe mein Volk jetzt voran als den ersten Soldat und hinter mir! Und hinter mir!
I am now leading my people as the first soldier, and behind me marches an entirely different people than that of the year 1980. So I ask you, my German people, pull in behind me, man after man, woman after woman. Munich Pact, 29 September 1938. occupation of Sudetenland. 1 October 1938. Secession of the Sudetenland. Hitler predicts annihilation of the Jewish race in Europe if war occurs. 30 January 1939.
Uns will heute wieder ein Profit sein.
If the international financial Jews within and without Europe should succeed again in plunging the people into another world war, the result will not be the Bolshevik reign on earth and thereby the victory of the Jews, but rather the annihilation of the Jewish race in Europe. Occupation of remainder of Czechoslovakia, 15 March 1939.
Als die Tschechoslowakei durch die Unabhängigkeitserklärung der Slowakei zu zerfallen drohte,
The German troops move into Bohemia, Moravia. The occupation goes to schedule in spite of icy roads and heavy snowstorms.
deutschen Truppen rücken in Böhmen und Mähren ein. Trotz vereisten Straßen und schwerster Schneestürme vollzieht sich der Einmarsch programmmäßig. Prag ist erreicht.
Prague has been reached. German students and representatives of fellow German groups greet the Fuhrer in the Kaiser's castle. The German army winds up a week of world historic significance, which is being celebrated in Prague. Occupation of Memel.
Memeland ist endlich frei.
Memel has been liberated. After 20 years of sufferings and distress, it now returns to the right. At the same hour as German troops are moving in from Tilsit, the Fuhrer goes to Memel aboard the battleship Deutschland. $150,000 people of Memel unite to thank the Fuhrer, who transformed an old injustice into justice. Reply to Roosevelt's plea that Germany avoid aggression. 28 April 1939. Men of the Reichstag, Mr. Roosevelt demands from us final assurance that the German forces will not attack the territory or possessions of the following independent nations, and especially that we should not occupy them. As countries in question, he names Finland,
Lettland, Litauen, Estland, Norwegen, Schweden, Dänemark, Niederlande, Belgien, Großbritannien, Irland, Frankreich, Portugal, Spanien, die Schweiz, Liechtenstein, Luxemburg, Polen, Ungarn, Rumänien, Jugoslawien, Russland, Bulgarien, Türkei, Irak, Arabien, Syrien, Palästina. Meine Antwort. Ich habe
I ask these states whether they feel threatened, and especially whether this plea by Mr. Roosevelt had been made by a request on their part, or at least with an understanding on their part. All the answers were negative. I wish to declare the following.
Jeden diese genannten einzelnen Staaten, wenn er es wirklich wollte, die selbst von Deutschland wieder einen entsprechenden tragbaren Vorschlag findet.
The German government is willing to make this promise with each of the above-named states should they approach Germany with an affair.
Und das Freunde sind. Aber die Zeitdauer, diese Abmachung und die Zeit von gerne bereit, mit jedem einzelnen Staat die von ihm gewünschten Vereinbarungen zu treffen.
I don't want to let this opportunity pass by without having given special assurance to the President of the North American Union about the territories which must be of first concern to him, namely, the North American Union itself and the other states on the American continent. And I here solemnly declare that any statement which may have spread somehow about a planned German attack or encroachment upon or within the American territories are awkward distortions and crude lies. Besides the fact that seen from a purely military point of view, only a silly imagination can originate such a statement. If a leading English publisher officially represents the opinion that one must put a foot down on Germany, and this is being confirmed by the policy of encirclement with which we are acquainted, then the conditions for a naval treaty have thereby been eliminated.
Solange diese Beifall uns nicht um eine materielle Einigung werden. Und ich hoffe noch immer, dass wir in das Größen mit denen wir vermeiden können, sondern um einen Akt der Selbstachtung.
I therefore resolve to notify the British government of this today. I still hope that we can avoid a rearmament race. This is an action of self-respect.
Die Übrige kenne ich mein Volk und ich freue darauf. Und der Führer,
Signing of European Pact, 21 May 1939.
Anfang Mai brachte der Führer und der Duce,
always ready to extend to a friend the hand of peace, but ironly resolved to protect and safeguard together their rights to life, 150 million Germans and Italians, together with their friends, form a bloc in this world which is invincible. It is a proud realization for each German and Italian to belong to this inseparable fighting community.
unter der einmaligen Regierung Adolf Hitler und Benito Mussolini zu gehören.
Welcome home of German Legion from Spanish War, 6 June 1939. The Fuhrer reviews the parade. With the music of the Legion March, the units passed by, dressed in the uniforms in which they fought in Spain. Brigadier General Freiherr von Richthofen, the last commander of the Legion, together with his predecessor.
Generale der Flieger Merle und Volkmann.
The colors of the Legion Condor, which were presented by Generalissimo Franco. Part 4, Wars of Aggression, 1939-1944. Invasion of Danzig, 1 September 1939. Under the stress of greatest threats on part of Poland, Danzig declares her independence on the 1st of September 1939. For the first time, the swastika flags are waving from the official buildings in Danzig. Danger. Stop. Shooting going on.
Aber noch befindet sich in der Stadt das polnische Postgebäude, in dem sich bewaffnete Banden verschanzt hatten. Männer der ganzen Geheimwehr räuchern zum Schuss eines Panzerwagens diesen gefährlichen Schlupfwinkel.
There is still the Polish office building in town where armed guerrillas have dug in. Under the protection of an armored car, men of the Danzig Home Guard smoke out this dangerous hiding place. Invasion of Poland, 1 September 1939.
Polen hat heute Nacht zum ersten Mal
During the night, Poland with regular troops is fired for the first time in our territory. Since 5:45 a.m. we have been shooting back.
45 wird jetzt zurückgeschossen. Beseitigte man Grenzen,
Thus one removes borders with which the apostles of hate from Versailles believed to be able to separate fellow Germans from the German Reich. Goering discusses invasion of Poland.
Bilder von höchster Eindringlichkeit vermitteln in diesem
The most impressive pictures in this film display to the German people the tremendous impact of the Polish War, especially the activity of our Luftwaffe. Once when at Versailles this beautiful weapon was taken away from us, one did not anticipate that this weapon would rise again under the leadership of Adolf Hitler, newer, stronger, and more potent.
wieder entstehen würde. Nun stehen wir am Abschluss des ersten
The
Geschehens.
things the Luftwaffe promised in Poland, this Luftwaffe is going to keep in England and in France.
England und Frankreich halten. Das heißt, auch hier wird für den Feind rücken, schlagen und vernichten.
Invasion of Norway and Denmark, 9 April 1940.
In den Morgenstunden des 9. April landeten in zahlreichen Häfen Norwegens und Dänemark
German troops landed in numerous ports of Norway and Denmark, an accomplishment without equal in the history of naval warfare.
hier Truppentransportschiffe bei der Einfahrt in den kleinen Welt. Wenige Minuten später
A few minutes later, units of the German Luftwaffe fly over the capital of Denmark as per schedule. They drop leaflets which inform the population that our soldiers do not come as enemies, but rather as friends who are occupying the country solely for the protection of Danish neutrality.
das Land zu setzen.
At the same time, the military occupation of Norway took place. Seaplanes have landed in the early hours of the morning and day in order to prepare for the landing of strong contingents.
Das Ziel, ein Flughafen an der Küste, ist erreicht. Die Besatzungstruppe verlässt die Maschine. Waffen und Munition werden ausgeladen. Ohne Aufenthalt setzen sich Stoßtrupps in Marsch. Ihre Aufgabe ist,
The area before Oslo, which was defended stubbornly, is being bombed by German fighter planes.
Zeugen mit Bomben belegt.
The German troops move into Oslo to pick up a band.
Oslo ein.
Invasion of Holland, Belgium, and Luxembourg, 10 May 1940. At dawn, the German armies attack on a wide front.
Weiter Front an.
Transport planes carry courageous paratroopers and glider troops far ahead of the marching column. It is their task to prevent the dynamiting of important highways and to interfere with the deployment of the enemy.
Aufgabe ist es, die Sprengung wichtiger Verkehrswege zu verhindern und den feindlichen Aufmarsch zu stören.
Here they go over that soil.
Das Einsatz
The primary objective has been attained. Jump over Rotterdam.
Rotterdam. Mit den ersten Fallschirmjägern drangen auch Kameramänner der Propagandakompanien ab.
The defense of Rotterdam collapses under the use of the most modern weapons. The Dutch soldier with the white flag offers the surrender of the city, which is already burning in many places.
Bombengeschwader bringen ihnen in rollendem Einsatz Entlastung.
The militarily important objects of the strongly defended city of Rotterdam are being subjected to bombing. A big transport is afire. Compiègne, 22 June 1940. On the 22nd of June, 1850 hours, German summertime, time, the German-French armistice was signed in the forest of Compiègne.
Wir unterzeichnen Namen vor. Auf deutscher Seite als Beauftragter des Führers des obersten Befehlshabers der
General Keitel, the chief of the High Command, signed as the representative of the Führer. General Hunsinger signed as the representative of the French government.
6 Stunden nach der Annahme
6 hours after the acceptance of the Italian armistice conditions, the armistice became effective in France on the 25th of June. After the declaration of surrender by General Petain, General Keitel presents for signature an invitation for the Duce to come to Munich. An historic victory has been won. The armies of France have been destroyed. Hitler pays tribute to Krupp, 13 August 1940. The Führer extended best wishes to the German industrial leader, Gustav Krupp von Bohlen und Halbach, on his 70th birthday. The Führer presented the honor medal of the NSDAP for his merit to the German people and right. Also the Distinguished Service Cross with the decoration Pioneer of Work. He is the first German manager to receive these medals.
Pionier der Arbeit.
Signing of military economic alliance by Germany, Italy, Japan. 27 September 1940.
Der Führer begrüßt Bracciano und hier den japanischen Botschafter.
Minister von Ribbentrop emphasized in his long statement that this three-power pact represents a military alliance between three of the mightiest countries on earth. Above all else, it should help to lead the world back to peace as speedily as possible. Bulgaria joins Axis. 1 March 1941.
Links neben dem Reichsaußenminister von Ribbentrop der bulgarische Ministerpräsident Professor Dr. Filov. Rechts der italienische Außenminister Bracciano.
As part of his speech, the Foreign Ministry of the Reich explains that the work of all those peoples which have united in the three-power pact are already serving for the final victory of the Axis. We represent, at the Reich's Foreign Minister, the strongest constellation of power which has ever existed on this earth. The armies are ready to jump and to attack and defeat England wherever she shows up.
Und ihr Symbol wird für alle Zeiten der Drei-Mächte-Pakt sein.
Of Yugoslavia and Greece, 6 April 1941. Serbian border fortifications and pillboxes, which were supposed to stop the advance of the German troops into Croatia, were overcome in a short time.
Marsch nach Kroatien aufhalten wollten. Sie waren in kurzer Zeit überwunden. Die Eisenbahnlinie nach Marburg ist von den Serben an verschiedenen Stellen gesprengt worden. Die griechische Front.
The Great Front. Artillery and Stukas break up and attack this line. Heavy fortifications which cover the passes are being wiped out systematically. Salonika is in German hands. During the World War, the Allied headquarters was here. This time, this important port has been taken by our troops after only 4.5 days. Invasion of USSR, 22nd June, 1941.
Reichsministerium für Volksaufklärung und Propaganda. Reichsminister Dr. Goebbels verließ die Proklamation des Führers.
The plot against Germany by London and Moscow is uncovered for the first time. After months of silence, the Fuhrer announces the only alternative left to him with the words, "Again I have resolved to place in the hands of our soldiers the fate and the future of the German Reich."
Des Deutschen Reiches wieder in die Hand unserer Soldaten zu legen. Im Anschluss an die Verlesung der Proklamation des Führers gab der Reichsminister des Auswärtigen von Ribbentrop,
The Foreign Minister of the Reich announces for the first time to the German and foreign press the German note to the Soviet Union. He is interrupted by applause. At the front in East Prussia. Away with the border gate. The village is being stubbornly defended by Siberian sharpshooters. Meeting with Pétain, Laval, and Franco in France, October 1941.
der französische Regierungschef Marschall Pétain trifft ein und wird mit militärischen Ehren empfangen.
Marshal Pétain, the chief of the French government, arrives and is being received with military honors. Of the French border station, the Fuhrer awaits the chief of the Spanish government. Here, for the first time, the Fuhrer meets the Caudillo.
Des Sonderzuges. Zum ersten Male begegnen sich hier der Führer und der Caudillo.
Conferences are in the spirit of the hearty and comradely alliance of the two nations. It touched upon all problems of future Europe. A visit to a camp near Minsk. declaration of war on the United States, 11 December 1941. On 11 December, 3 days after the beginning of the war between Japan and the USA, the Fuhrer before the Reichstag spoke to the German people, the Italian and Japanese ambassadors. In a speech of world historic significance, the Fuhrer first reviewed the course of the war against Bolshevism. In doing so, he honored the heroism of our soldiers, their accomplishments, hardships, and efforts, which the homeland is hardly able to appreciate.
Im zweiten Teil seiner Rede.
In the second part of his speech, he mercilessly settled accounts with the warmonger and hypocrite Franklin Roosevelt. Side by side with Japan, Germany and Italy have now decided to conduct the fight for the defense of freedom and independence of their peoples and their countries against the United States of America and England. A gift to Hitler, February 1942. Quisling, Minister-President of Norway, arrived in the Reich's capital for a visit that lasted several days. He was received by the Fuhrer for a long discussion. Quisling presented the Fuhrer with a present consisting of a Viking ship made of silver. Japanese submarine welcomed in German harbor, 30 September 1942.
Der Atlantikküste. Ein japanisches Unterseeboot läuft einen deutschen Stützpunkt an.
In the course of the common naval warfare of the three powers to the pact, the Japanese warships have made contact with the forces of the Axis. Admiral Schultz, the commanding admiral of France, and Admiral Dönitz, the commander of the German submarines, go aboard with the Japanese naval attaché to greet them. The Japanese commander reports to Grand Admiral Rader, the commander-in-chief of the Navy. Signing of the German-Japanese Economic Pact, 20 January 1943. The Reich's Foreign Minister von Ribbentrop receives the Japanese ambassador Oshima. This agreement will bring to full its utilization for total war the great economic areas of Europe and East Asia. Conference after Hitler's escape from the bombing plot, 20 July 1944. A few hours after the plot, the Fuhrer receives the Duce for a discussion which was held in the spirit of the greatest of haughtiness. Leading men of the party, state, and army greet the Fuhrer. Before the beginning of the decisive discussion, Reich's Economic Minister Funk, Gauleiter Sokol, Reich's Minister Speer, Dr. Sauer, and Reich's Minister Lemmer, Reichsführer SS, and General Tetzschner, the Reichsminister Dr. Goebbels, General Guderian with the Reichsführer SS, Dr. Goebbels talking with the Reichsleiter Bormann and General Jodl. By the suggestion of the Reichsmarshal, Reichsminister Dr. Goebbels was appointed Reichsplenipotentiary for the total war effort by the Fuhrer. People's Court trial concerning plot of 20 July. Judge Price was speaking. He says, Joseph Wormer, you belong to the Black Party. Anyone can see that. He then derised the defendant for not becoming a soldier, and one that had to be put to compulsory duty.
Wichtig wohl der Zivilanwalt da gewesen sein muss, dass Sie gehabt haben, dass Sie nicht mal Anwalt, nicht mal Soldat geworden sind in dem Alter. Und dann sind Sie dienstverpflichtet worden. Und auch für Ihre Haltung, dass Sie nicht haben, dass Sie erst gewartet haben, bis man die Dienstverpflichtete. Keine Früchtchen. Ja, keine Früchtchen. Sie haben gewartet, bis man die Dienstverpflichtet wird. Und da, wo sind Sie hingegangen? Chemische Erzeugung, haben keine Ahnung von Chemie. Werden Sie lieber eine Knarre in die Hand genommen? Wenn ich auf dumme Gedanken gekommen. Aber natürlich, die haben mir bestimmt, dass Sie Kartoffeln sind. Also, werden Sie hier nicht unterstehen.
Don't become impudent here, we'll teach you. The judge continues with, you are here only to state whether or not you are a traitor to the party and the people.
Äußerung auf die Träger am nationalsozialistischen Großdeutschen Reich und damit an unserem deutschen Volk sind. Darüber zu äußern, so wie es Ihnen gebührt. Lassen Sie Ihre dummen Trugschlüsse, lassen Sie Ihr Hüttentuch weg. Jetzt gehen wir weiter. Das ist also Ihr Respekt vor der Grünlinkchen aus Politik. Übrigens, Sie haben ihm noch einen freundlichen Nekrolog gewidmet vor der Polizei. Sie haben nämlich gesagt, er hätte, wenn wir die Zeit gelassen hätten, sicher noch viel mehr.
You have said that burning would have solved the corridor question. Is that your conviction? Well, the German people wanted to be free and wanted to get rid of burning, who thought that a slave could regain freedom by loving servitude.
Die aber hat ein Wunsch, deutsche Volk wollte frei werden und wollte den Grünen und Konsorten, die da meinten, Liebe Dienerei könne ein Sklave wieder frei werden, von dem wollten sie nicht. Ja, dem Mann haben Sie Respekt.
As far as I know, abroad he never, as far as you know. But what circles of conspiracy he is, that we know.
Sie müssen mit dem Polenfeldzug ein besonderes Erleben.
Count Schwerin von Schweinfeld, you have had an experience of a special kind during the war in Poland.
Sie haben also eigene Heimat als Soldat unseres Führers befreien dürfen. Daher sind wir Städten gewesen. Wo waren Sie zuletzt?
Zuletzt war ich hier in Berlin an einer Außenstelle des Generalstabsdieners.
Yes? Well, Army High Command expert, have you heard anything about the leaflets which the enemy has dropped even after your ill-fated plot?
Ja, die Missglücken Ihres Verrats untergeworfen haben. Da schreiben die Engländer in einem Flugblatt Folgendes.
In one of these leaflets, the English say the following. Indeed, those who have cooperated, those who engineered it, all of them are not worth anything. At best, they had a perverted love for Germany. Perverted.
Was ich an politischen Erfahrungen persönlich gemacht habe, hat für mich mancherlei Schwierigkeiten in der Folge gehabt, weil ich ja sehr lange für das Deutschtum in Polen gearbeitet habe.
Mr. President, I have worked for the German people in Poland, and based upon this, I have experienced many a vacillation in the opinion about the Poles. That is
Das ist eine
at any rate, is this vacillation something of which you could accuse National Socialism? I thought about the many murders at which in Germany and abroad were... But you are a filthy rascal. Do you collapse under the stress of this vulgarity, yes or no? Do you break down because of it?
Präsident.
Yes or no? I want a clear answer. No? You could not even break down because you are but a measly little pile of filth which has lost all self-respect. Major Rima, decorated for his role in suppression of the 20 July plot, hails unity of NSDAP and Wehrmacht. July 1944.
Major Riemer, der Kommandeur des Wachbataillons Berlin, der sich bei der schnellen Niederschlagung der staatsfeindlichen...
The commander of the Guard Battalion in Berlin, Major Rima, who earned great merits by the quick suppression of the plot, and whom the Fuhrer promoted immediately to the rank of a colonel.
Wir sind heute das Volk politische Soldaten.
Today we are political soldiers. Our
defense of our National Socialistic ideal. Then we are going to carry out this political mission, come what may, until final victory.
Verteidigung unserer nationalsozialistischen Idee und wir werden diesen politischen Auftrag unter allen Umständen durchführen bis zu einem endgültigen Sieg.
Birthday of Hitler, 20 April 1944. On his birthday, the Fuhrer inspects new anti-tank weapons and receives the congratulations of the Reichsmarschall and of the generals. General Field Marshal Keitel, Grand Admiral Dönitz, General Chrysler. The German people's birthday present for Adolf Hitler was a singular confession of faith, of a strong will to fight, and of resistance until victory to the Fuhrer. In the Reich's capital, along with the Guard regiment, the people of Berlin march on the street unter den Linden.
Unter den Linden entlang.